I'm not shilling a token. I think you should always do your own research. Always do your own research. Never just trust anyone. Never trust some random person from the internet who's telling you this is a great coin, because you have to do your own research. You have to be responsible for your own investment portfolio, your own value, and never trust anyone. So don't trust me. Go on to dtravel.com, have a look, do your own research, click on every link here and have a look. Some of the data is out of date, and so that's just the only thing to take into consideration. If you go to the about, you see this is the leadership. This is incorrect. Yeah, Cynthia is gone. Bruno is gone. I don't know who. I've never met Trang. I am assuming gone. Jeremy, I'm assuming gone. And then who has left? Ty, James, Quinn, and Eric. They are left. They've taken over the leadership. The new CEO is Eric Pace. He was head of business development, supply growth. It says here it was business development, partnerships. But actually, he ended up running the whole show on an operational side, while Ty was doing the technical, the techie side, and then James was doing the marketing and the website SEO and all that stuff, and then Quinn was doing the front end product and all the tech behind the front end. So Eric is now taking over the CEO as the CEO of Dtravel. It hasn't been announced yet. And then all of this is going to get updated. All of this is going to get updated. But there's still information here that's useful. And it's all relevant still in many ways. So when you're going to have a look at the TRVL token, this is all still correct. Half of it has been locked. So 500 million has been locked and won't be released. So it's still slightly out of date. Total supply 1 billion. Half of it's been locked, but more than half of it is under the control of the foundation, and the foundation at the moment is inactive because Cynthia, who was the CEO, also happened to be the chair of the foundation, and she stepped down, or she's stepping down as the chair of the foundation also. So there's some big changes happening. Has Cynthia sold out and gone? No one can talk of the future when it comes to people's own personal decisions. But from what I've heard, she's dealing with a lot of things in her personal life. She hasn't got the time anymore for running or operating a crypto startup, and it requires a lot of time. It requires a lot of energy, maximum effort. You know, she has she's a mother now, and so she's stepping down in her official duties with regards to Dtravel across the board. But she still owns and holds TRVL. She hasn't sold out. And so what you got from this drop, and so there was a little bit of a drop when Cynthia initially announced that she was stepping down. It happened here. I think it was here. And then the price recovered, and it's kind of come down. And it's correcting. So basically what's happened with TRVL is a correction. When you're looking at the price action, it's very easy and clear to see that this whole down move is a correction. Yeah, it's not a sell-off. None of this is a sell-off. Even though this is a sell-off. You see that as a sell-off? That was a buyback. These are sell-offs, but we're getting corrective price action. We're getting very different price action to how TRVL was when it really was selling off. If you look at here, that was a sell-off and there was no real attempt at buying back. Yeah. Right now, what we're seeing is a correction, and effectively we've been in this range from the all-time low to this weekly high. And so we are in weekly bullish market structure. And that's the other thing that I wanted to just share with you guys. Technically on the charts, it still is bullish. It may not feel like it right now, but it is. This was your lower low. This was your higher high. This was your higher low. This was your higher high. So you're putting in higher highs, you're putting in higher lows. That's bullish. It means that the market overall is buying more than it's selling. And so what we are doing now here is formulating a bottom structure, a bottoming structure. The month is almost out, and we're getting quite high volume on this sell. We're at the bottom of the previous month low, and we're getting quite strong volume, but I'm just thinking to myself, if we can hold this monthly range, then that would be okay. That would be a good, it would just be a range bound candle, or an inside candle as you would call it. Right now the 3-month candle is looking really bullish because you've got ever increasing volume, and now we're coming to test the beginnings of this 3-month candle. And so I'm not looking at this and going, oh my God, this is really bearish, this is going down. I actually feel like after all of the volume and all the selling, we're doing quite well, because it means those people who wanted to sell made a little bit of profit, they're out, but the price isn't crashing, it's just correcting. And we are in weekly bullish structure, market structure. So now we have to see what happens next with the token price. I'll do a volume pull on it. We're in the range, the volume range, you see that? We're coming to test the value area low. These are tests. Tried to find support on the golden pocket, couldn't, coming to test the 786. What did I say before? That's what I said, remember that? There. So I had it possibly for the 1 to 1.68, but we are coming into area, aren't we? We are coming into an area now where we could be forming some kind of butterfly if the price takes out that pivot low, or a bat if it doesn't. And that's, we're still there, huh? We're still in that area. And so when I did this, when I created this idea, we were kind of trading around here. And you can see what's happening. You can see that it is actually heading for my targeted area to form a, but this is a bullish harmonic. And so the price is coming down very gently. And this is what you want to see when the price corrects. You want to see the price come down gently. This Thursday would be the 1 to 2. And next Thursday would be the 1 to 2.618. So we've passed Thursday. That was yesterday. Today's Friday. We are in that area. And so possibly what I'm thinking is we do pivot, find the pivot low here. The question is, does it take out this X or not? It doesn't matter, because when I was looking at the harmonics here, the difference was a bat or a butterfly. It's basically the same, except the butterfly takes the starting point X. Yeah. That would be a butterfly. That would be a bat. It doesn't really matter, but this is kind of where we're at when it comes to TRVL, and it could happen this week or the beginning of next week, i.e. next month. Okay. So this is actually looking quite good from a technical perspective. We're just forming a bullish harmonic here. And the next thing we want to see is a real nice injection of volume and a real nice move to the upside. Now that I'm looking at the daily time frame, I can see decreasing prices, decreasing volume. So that for me means it's not as bearish as it looks. And we'll go to the weekly time frame. Have a look at that. I can't see the volume. Why is there no volume? Give me some volume. There it is. Potentially decreasing volume, decreasing prices. Let's just see how this week plays out on that. So I'm not feeling too bearish at the moment. Just because of that harmonic that I drew, and it kind of feels like we're still in that harmonic, potentially just trying to find this pivot D before we get an uptick, an up move to the 50 fib in the first instance. That would take us above the golden pocket. And then we could have a really nice bounce and spring out of these lows that's kind of what we're looking for next. Okay, so I think that's technically what's on the table. And then going back to El Salvador, I'm here in El Salvador. I'm here in sunny El Salvador. Not many clouds. The weather's starting to improve. Rainy season is about to end. And so I've got news and updates, but I don't know how much I can say. Last week, Eric Pace from Dtravel, who's the CEO of Dtravel, this hasn't been updated. This is going to get updated very soon. So that's going to be a big deal. He is the CEO. He lives in Austin. He came to visit me in El Salvador for 6 days. He was here for 6 days. We hung out for 6 days. Every day for 6 days, we were hanging out, talking about Dtravel, talking about TRVL, talking about the past, the present, and the future. And what I can tell you is that there's a lot of amazingly good things coming for Dtravel and TRVL. That's all I can say, actually. Unfortunately, I can't reveal any more information about the future, except that if you've been following my streams for the last 2 years, you would have got some information in the past about my ideas. And so what's happened is that Eric has come, he's seen El Salvador, he's listened, he's heard, he understands, and he is going to push us and take us to the next part of our journey together. And I'm 100% confident and convicted that he is the right person to take Dtravel to a multi-billion dollar status. I really believe that, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart. I believe that Eric is the man to do this. I genuinely believe that. I always have. And I've mentioned it in the past in not so many words. I initially called for the leadership to change. I had to step down back in February because there was too much pushback. There was too much animosity. And then effectively they stood down, and then the person that I wanted to take over took over, Eric. And now Eric is leading the charge for the next version or the next iteration of Dtravel. And I think most people, if not all people who are watching my streams or listening to me, will love everything that's about to happen with Dtravel, with TRVL, and with the growth of our network. So there are some massive things happening. The only other thing I can say is that Eric is returning to El Salvador in 2 weeks' time with his family. Okay. And so that's a big deal. So if you guys are following what's happening in El Salvador from afar, let me kind of give you some information from up close. This place is happening crypto-wise. El Salvador is happening crypto-wise. It may take a few years to show, but this is fast becoming a major crypto hub. Tech entrepreneurs, tech startups, tech businesses, this place is starting to happen. And I think it's a real powerful sign that Dtravel are taking this development very seriously, and we're looking actually to do some great things here. And that's basically as much as I can say. I trust Eric 100%. I think he's the right person, the right time, right place. He basically ran the show while Cynthia was on maternity leave and dealing with her own kind of personal life. And as she stepped down, he rose up to take over as CEO. And I really believe that we are on the right track now to go to amazing heights. And so I'm really confident in that. There isn't really much else to report other than the links that I usually go to. You can go to for yourself. The Dtravel network analytics, you can go and have a look for yourself. And there's slow growth there. It isn't still exponential growth, which is what I will be expecting in the near future with the changes that are happening in Dtravel, big changes. So once all those changes are done and announced, and once everyone is clear about the future, all of the FUD is going to disappear, because right now what people are experiencing is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That is what is happening. So when you're looking at the charts over the last period of time, it's all fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And since I came back in July, I've been trying to bring certainty, eliminate the fear, and remove the doubt. But still, there is uncertainty. There is uncertainty. Why? Because I'll give you an example of the uncertainty. When you go and look at the documentation, it's out of date. It's not correct. The Night Pro, all of it is not correct. It's outdated because it reflects a previous leadership. It reflects a previous direction, a direction that we're no longer going to go anymore. We're not following that direction anymore. We're following a completely new direction. Largely, that direction was directed and guided by Travala. And so what's happening now is that we're becoming our own creation. It's like a new birth, and with a new leadership, and that hasn't been reflected in the documentation. So there's uncertainty. When you look at the tokenomics and the token, there's uncertainty because you're looking at this and you're wondering what's going on. I don't quite understand. I never really have. And this all needs to be simplified and understood. That's going to bring certainty. No one really understands why there's 635 million total TRVL vested, what that actually means, who has control over that, and if and when that's going to be released onto public. So no one really knows. That brings uncertainty. This is what the previous team did. The previous leadership brought uncertainty, and that created an air of fear and doubt in the leadership, and doubt for the future, and fear because people were scared that all of a sudden their investments would crash to zero. That's changing. So this is all changing. Everything's changing, okay? And what we will do is we're going to eliminate the fear, the uncertainty, and the doubt. So everyone will know exactly what will happen with the token for the future, all the way to the end of eternity. That's going to eliminate all of the uncertainty, eliminate the fear, and eliminate the doubt, because now you will see a team, a leadership team that is taking control of the narrative. We will take the control of the narrative ourselves as hosts and investors, and we will support the new leadership, which is effectively Eric, James, Quinn, and Ty. And this is the beginning of the future, because new people will come. People who are also passionate about decentralized travel, and who will learn and understand what's happening, the turnaround and the new direction that we're going, and they're going to join us in the future. That's what's going to happen. So I'm really excited about Eric coming back to El Salvador again. If you come out to El Salvador, I'm here. I'm happy to have a drink. I'm not drinking alcohol these days. I'm just drinking my El Salvadorian coffee, but I'm happy to, or lemonade without sugar. So we can come and have a without sugar lemonade. And as you can tell by my face, I'm really happy and excited about the future. Like, for me, the uncertainty and doubt and fear has been eliminated, and there's more to come. So just watch this page. The best place to kind of interact is going to be the Telegram channel. And so let me go to the Telegram now, just to kind of show you and give you some updates. There's been some conversations in the TRVL channel. So if you've missed it, there's been some conversations there. Firstly, I'm only doing a once a week stream now. I'm not doing it 3 times a week. I'm doing it once a week. I'm trying to cut back on the amount of time I'm streaming at the moment, because I'm doing a lot of things here on the ground in El Salvador. And I think for most people, it's quite repetitive and boring to just have multiple streams. And so I'm going to try and do, like, my internet's not worked properly today, but hopefully once I figure this out, I'll have a really nice long update, like a long weekly update on Fridays. And there's been some conversation. Kitty Commie, who has been talking about Discord. This deleted account is Andrea, I guess. I think she's having some problems with her account. Andrea, that's her. If you don't know her, she's our community manager. She's in Indonesia now at the moment. And I think it's possible that we go back to Discord because of the changes that are happening with Dtravel. There's some big changes happening, big changes. We're talking about complete turnaround. And I think there is a possibility that we go back to Discord as the communities grow and as we grow from an investor perspective and also from a host perspective. There's a lot of things happening here in El Salvador. And so again, I'm just repeating that. So that's kind of what some of the conversation's been going on. Here, Jay talks about the growth of the token looks very disconnected to the actual project. This is what I've been saying a long time, like really from the beginning, Jay. And it is a flag and it is high risk because people have found it difficult to find a connection between the value of TRVL and the value of the network and the value of the technology and the value of a peer-to-peer decentralized network project that we're building. And it'd be a smaller investment until more clarity. Well, let me tell you something. The clarity is coming. There's going to be real clarity for the future. We're going to eliminate the FUD once and for all. You're going to know exactly where we're going and it's going to make sense. And you will know exactly how and when the rest of the TRVL will be released into the community for growth. You'll know. Okay. That's going to eliminate the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And right now, people have no idea what's happening, and that's what's changing. And so I've mentioned that everything will change, and it's not going to be like Ava. It's going to be much, much, much better. And again, Kitty Com is talking about being here for 4 years, like me, and the team has made its mind on how to empower the role of TRVL with a tokenomics that makes sense. At least that was also the reason between the fallout between me and Sin a few months ago. Again, Kitty Commie, this is all changing. Yeah, I was right, but I'm not here to boast or gloat about being right. I just want us now to move on, learn from the past, which we have, and never to repeat the same mistakes. The first thing we need to do is to make it clear what's happening now and going forward in the future. We need to bring certainty to the token, to the project, and the value of the token and the value of the project. That's what we need to do. And then we need to go out there and execute. Okay. And I think a large part of the future will be El Salvador for many reasons outside of Dtravel, but also I think this is going to be a real central place in the future of Central South America with respect to the USA. So there's going to be a lot of actual real capital value coming into this country. And so just Dtravel has an opportunity to grow with the growth of El Salvador as well. And so there are many compelling reasons for Dtravel to focus here. And so that's kind of part of the reason why I'm here too. So yeah, so it's quite exciting. And so you can go onto Telegram and have a look. We're probably going to go to Discord soon, probably. I'm not sure when. And that's just kind of like my gut feeling and the conversations that we've been having. We had an event here in El Salvador last week, and it was a really successful event, a Dtravel event. Very low key. We didn't make a hurrah about it, but we had a really nice event here with lots of people coming, hosts, investors, community, different people from different parts of the communities here. And Eric was here. I was there. I actually done all the cooking. Can you believe it? I cooked for everyone. And I think it was a really successful event. There'll probably be some videos appearing in the near future. And I'm really excited about that. All right, so stay in touch on the Telegram, and let me quickly have a look at the X page. I haven't looked at it in a week. Have a look and see what's going on. The last post was September 23rd. Dtravel attended the Korea Blockchain Week. So I guess that was Andrea. Yep. That's her. Okay. So we haven't had much more information. Oh, look, this is interesting. What did she say? Real crypto travel adoption will happen in countries where no one's looking. So going back to the charts, not financial advice, but this is a really, really good place to accumulate, isn't it? Look at the volume. We're getting nice volume in these lows now. This is a really nice place to accumulate TRVL. If people haven't bought in, this is a good place to buy. Is the timing right? Potentially, yeah. I mean, they say buy the rumor, sell the news, but I think after you hear the changes that are going to happen, you will never want to sell this token ever again. Ever. That's how excited I am about the changes that are going to happen. And not only not sell, you're going to want to buy more. And I think that sentiment is going to rapidly spread across anyone who's interested in this project. They'll be like, oh shit, I can't sell this. I'm actually going to end up buying more quickly. And that's when we're going to get a real kind of boost to the upside. And what happens then is if we can get back into this range, and I don't see why we can't with what's about to happen, then this whole thing becomes a massive sign of strength. Lose the range, get back into the range. Once you're back into the range, the next move is an explosive move to the upside. That's how it works. So the key level for us will be the previous all-time low at 2 cents. If we get back into the range, then this whole thing becomes mega bullish, extremely bullish. Yeah. Then it doesn't really matter when we break out, but the probability will be to a breakout to the upside if we can get back into the range after losing the range low with volume. And that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing volume. Okay. So I'm really excited to see how this plays out over the next few months. But I really think that everyone is going to be extremely, extremely happy and surprised at what is going to be proposed and the changes that are going to be implemented in Dtravel with respect to TRVL. And this is the thing that's not happened in the past. There's always been a disconnect, and that's what Jay was talking about in Telegram, the disconnect. That is the first thing that's changing, this disconnect. We're changing that. Okay. So watch this space. Look, the growth of the token looks very disconnected to the actual project. But more than that, not only will there be an actual connection, a real connection, the growth of the real world project is going to exponentially increase as well. Starting here in El Salvador, there's going to be massive growth, and it's not just going to be in the host network; it'll also be in the travelers too. There's a lot of things happening, a lot of big changes, and the marketing is going to be exceptional. I can tell you that. That's also changing. You're going to be surprised. A lot of people are going to be like, wow, what just happened? And for a lot of people, they're going to be like, thank God I held and I'm never selling. That's kind of what I'm feeling right now. So anyway, good luck, guys. We're almost there. We're almost there at the end. We're almost there. And actually, this isn't the end. This is the beginning. We're almost there at the end of the beginning. And this is going to be the beginning of the next part of the story. Okay. So that is my weekly TRVL update. If there's any questions, just come into Telegram. You can ask me. You can, just like Kitty Kami did, or you could come, you can ask me on my X page. Happy to answer any questions.